Today we're going to be talking about the Temple of Hephaestus. This is the most well-preserved Greek temple in the world. It goes by a couple different names, one being the Temple of Hephaestus or the Theazon. So the temple gets its name from Hephaestus, who is the Greek god of fire, metalworking, and craftsmanship, as you can see here. Hephaestus made many of the weapons and the armor that the Greek gods used, for example, the winged helmet of Hermes or the armor of Achilles. Even though the temple was named after Hephaestus, it was dedicated to both Hephaestus and Athena, who is Hephaestus' mother. And we know this because the statues that were placed inside the temple. The temple was identified by these two statues, and they are both of Hephaestus and Athena. And these statues were dated to be made around 420 BC. The temple is located at the top of the hill of Colonus Agorius, overlooking the Agora. The temple was placed in such a way so that the people in the Agora square were able to see the temple above. And surrounding the temple were many metal workshops and potter's workshops. And this is fitting, seeing as Hephaestus was the Greek god of metalworking and craftsmanship. The temple itself was made entirely out of marble except for the lowest steps, which are poros. The temple also has many different artworks sculpted into the building itself. The eastern side of the temple faces the Agora and is heavily decorated with 10 eastern metopes. These represent the labors of Hercules, while the east pediment shows the apotheosis of Hercules. This is heroic deeds on earth. And they look somewhat like that. You could see in the picture there, those 4 pictures up there, those are what they kind of looked like. Here's a closer look at some of them, and these show the acts of Theseus. Now, Theseus was a legendary Greek hero in mythology, and he also had 8 metopes, 4 on the east side on the north end and 4 on the east side of the south end. His most famous battles were the ones on the south end. Some of these famous battles are his battles with the Minotaur and Theseus wrestling the bull of Marathon. On the right side you have him battling the Minotaur, and on the left side is him wrestling with the bull of Marathon. Another one of Theseus' most famous battles can be seen on the west side of the temple. There is a frieze that shows a battle with the centaurs, where Theseus comes to the rescue of the people in the scene. The temple was also surrounded by a large garden. This was a huge discovery because it was the first time a garden had been discovered by means of square pits dug out of the rock. The garden still even has flower pots that shrubs had been transplanted in. Later in its lifetime, the temple was converted into a church. This church was dedicated to St. George. Most of the damage the temple received occurred during the time the temple was a church. This is because many of the things were changed and rearranged inside the temple and the outside, which led to some of the damage over time.